Hey everyone, we're coming to you from Nankin Hobby in Southgate, and today I'm talking to Ryan about RC planes. So Ryan has in the past been into flying drones and done a little bit of air stuff, but planes is a new venture for him. So can you tell us a little bit about what got you into planes, what kind of instilled that interest?
Yeah, so ever since I was little, I've been going to the Toledo show down in Toledo, and that's always been a fun thing. I've been going since I was little, so I've always seen planes kind of my whole life and stuff like that.
And for anyone who's not in the southern Michigan or Toledo area, can you kind of explain what that is?
Yeah, basically it's just a big air show for like model planes and stuff like that for vendors to show off different product, new product. There's even swap meet there upstairs, and everything like that as well.
Okay, and Nankin usually goes to that. I think the Weak Signals one is actually no longer going on, but there's been like a replacement show now.
Yep, exactly.
And we were actually there this year. It was pretty cool little replacement swap meet there. So if you're in Toledo next, I think it's April or so usually that is.
Something like that, yeah.
We'll be talking about that at that time, but definitely a cool thing to add to. So you saw some planes and stuff there as a kid, and that kind of
yeah, and then also
pushed you this way.
And also on YouTube, there's a gentleman named Mike Patey. He's the one who actually designed the plane called the Draco. I've been watching him build that from scratch and everything like that. It's always been a super cool plane in real life to look at and watch. And then Horizon Hobby came out with the E-flite model of it. Once that came out, I kind of had to have it. So
what about the Draco? Like, I've seen the Draco. It's actually a really cool plane. But if someone's not familiar, what is it about the Draco that kind of drew you in?
That is just it's a short takeoff and landing plane for STOL, for competition and everything like that. So it's really cool how the plane will take off super short distances and it'll land very quickly as well because it has reverse. So as soon as you land the plane, you can actually throw the plane in reverse, and reverse thrust will prevent it from actually slow it down a little bit more.
So that's kind of a weird thing to imagine. I've not seen that on a plane before. Like obviously cars and stuff will have a reverse, but the plane actually does it.
Yep. Yeah, it's mainly because like if you're in like a tight area, like in the mountains or something like that, you got a small place you got to land. You can land in that real short little distance. You get in tighter areas than other planes can.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So the plan then is to fly the Draco. Do you have the Draco now?
I do. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I just picked that up. I got the ultimate fly combo for it.
Okay.
So what that includes is you get the plane, of course. You're going to get a battery and a charger from Spectrum. You're going to get a little toolkit and then the NX8 radio as well.
Okay.
And then there's also a beginner set of flight simulator for 9.5. So that works out pretty well. So I actually uploaded that to my computer. I actually imported the Draco model from Knife Edge and got that on there as well. So I can actually kind of simulate flying the real thing, and learn how to fly that a little bit.
So you have flown the Draco on the simulator now?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yep, so that worked out pretty well. And then, so once I kind of learned how to do that a little bit, I picked up a Timber X from E-flite. That's basically a little bit cheaper option for me to kind of start off with, versus putting a whole $700 plane to the ground, a little bit different story.
Yeah, I can see how that would not be fun.
So then the other thing is I put the Timber X in the real flight as well, and learn how to fly a little bit more, as you can see behind me here, with that particular plane. And then after that, it worked out pretty well.
So you haven't flown the Draco, but you have flown the Timber X on both the simulator and in real life.
Yep.
And how does that kind of experience compare?
They're definitely pretty good. They're actually, for the flight characteristics and everything like that, they're very similar. But the only thing that the flight simulator doesn't do is get to your nerves.
Sure.
It's a lot easier just to press the reset button on there versus doing it in real life.
Sure.
So, but the
when
Timber X,
when they come out with that reset button, we'll be out of business.
Yep.
So the plan though now is to go fly the Draco in real life. That's probably the next step.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
We're going to go with Matt Hartz to the Downriver Air Modelers Club, and we're going to try and fly there.
Okay, so that'll be kind of a cool experience, and you'll probably see some of that pretty soon. your thoughts?
Definitely a little nerve-wracking, but you know, importing that plane into the simulator definitely helped out a lot. You know, because Horizon now offers that plane in their simulator, so that kind of worked out pretty good.
How much simulator time you think you have? I mean, on this, not in total, obviously, but
on this plane, probably just a few hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely didn't take a lot. And I probably have about 9 hours total. You know, starting with like a Timber X and stuff like that. And then of course, start flying a Timber X first. Definitely kind of gave me the confidence to start flying something like this.
And the Timber was your first plane?
It was. You know, a little bit easier, a little bit less cheap, a little bit cheaper in case if I did put it down. But this was the kind of the end goal, for getting into planes and stuff like that. But yeah, all in all, it was a great success.
How about from the more experienced pilot? How did you like it?
I like it a lot. I was kind of skeptical at first when he first brought it in to the shop, and I felt how heavy it was. And I thought, wow, this thing's gonna need a lot of power to fly, but in the air it flies like a feather, like I was telling him.
It look heavy in the air.
It comes in with a good amount of penetration with flaps on. Yeah, I mean you gotta feed it a little bit of down, but it wants to float right in, and it seems like the weight is not even an issue. Like he said, he started flying the Timber X. I suggested flying an Apprentice or a Timber X before you jump into something like that, because you spend $500-600 on this ARF and you pile it in, you're going to be pretty upset about it. So simulator time does help. Like myself, when I started flying when I was 7 years old, I was doing buddy box systems where the two radios were connected together. That's how you did it back in the day, and then you bought everything as a kit with blueprints, just a box of wood, and then you had to build it. So when you had 9 months of building time and you crash it, and you really were upset. And then they started coming out with the simulator back in the day, and now the simulator is so advanced. So when I practice something in like a 3D plane, I'll fly anything. I'll fly scale, warbirds, 3D stuff. I'll practice a maneuver on the simulator and then take it to the field. So I suggest if you feel like you want to get into flying, start with the simulator. I mean, it's what, 140, 150 bucks. You get so many helicopters, so many airplanes, different terrains and stuff like that. So I tell people you could just crash all day long for 150 bucks. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it gives you the general knowledge of like flight. You know what I mean? So if you can't fly this airplane, try this airplane. Now everything's so sophisticated with safe and everything, the planes pretty much fly themselves. So if you don't want to go with the simulator route, you can get yourself a safe airplane with safe AS3X in it and everything to keep it in the air, stability control and all that good stuff.
And for beginners, that would be like the Apprentice, the Mini Apprentice,
anything like
Sport Cub S.
Yeah, like the old micro UMX airplanes and stuff like that. If it has AS3X in it.
What's that new rear prop one?
The Aero Scout.
The Aero Scout,
yeah, that has
and
safe
I think they
in
have
it
two
too.
sizes of the Aero Scout
Yep.
now. Those are all good beginner things.
So if you don't, like I said, if you don't want to go simulator route, start with an Apprentice, an Aero Scout, a Timber, a Turbo Timber, a Timber X even. If it says safe on it, I would give it a shot. But
And we actually have some footage of Ryan on the simulator with this plane too. What, either of you, I guess Ryan specifically, because he's flown this on the simulator, is there anything dramatically different between the real thing and the simulator version, or is there anything
Definitely
that you noticed?
a little more nerve-wracking when it comes down to the real thing.
So it's more about you than the
Exactly. But in the simulator, it is pretty neat because it actually has wind effect and scale and everything like that. So it kind of puts a lot of factors into play. But all in all, it's very, very similar effect to it though. So.
And I guess on simulators, we're kind of at the end sort of part of the summer right now. We got a little bit more flying time, but it won't be too long now before it's winter months, so that's going to be a good thing there too. If somebody's looking to get into planes and picks up a simulator over these winter months, is there anything that they should be aware of about the simulator that's dramatically different, or things that it doesn't simulate very well? Or is it really more about just the confidence in person versus on the computer?
Confidence, stuff like that. The simulator does get kind of wonky when you're like high up. The screen kind of like rotates, so that could kind of like throw people off.
Sure.
Or zoom in or something like that as well.
Yeah. But seriously, it does help though. I mean, it gives you pretty much everything you need to know.
And it really
about
does
flying.
give you the general idea of how everything works when it comes down to flaps and stuff like that as well. You know, or even
There's
if you have landing gear.
There's also training programs on there as well. So if like you want to learn how to fly a helicopter and just hover, you can do that on the simulator too. Or if you want to like hover an airplane on the prop,
superimpose a circle or something that you
yeah,
stay
it gives
in.
you a circle. And it's kind of funny because you go outside that circle and the plane just blows up. It's kind of funny, but it keeps you. It's kind of like a discipline type deal. Like it gets you wanting to learn that. Oh, I don't want to go out of that circle. You know what I mean? So yeah, it does help. It's a big help.
So you satisfied
Very.
with your first flight here?
Yep.
I was impressed by the landing.
Now we just got to charge the battery and do another one.
All right. Thanks to everyone for watching. If you're interested in the Draco, E-flite, or any of the products mentioned in this video, you can find links in the description. As always, don't forget to like, comment, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel, and we can't wait to see you again.